Welcome to Global Village. We are airing today from the Brooks Legion. We are very honored to have Scott Berry. He's the new Executive Director of SPEC, and Mr. Mohammed Ibrahim, who is the Somali Elder Council. He's one of the leaders also of the African Canadian Elders Council. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Scott, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm fairly new to Brooks. I've arrived here within the last 6 weeks. I was hired by SPEC to come on as the Executive Director. I am born and raised in Alberta. I come from the Calgary region. My background has been involved as an entrepreneur. I've built a number of businesses in the communications world and have been very much involved in the nonprofit world, working with youth organizations for much of my career. And I moved that into the main part of my career within the last 4 years. That includes leadership, youth leadership type programs, heavily involved with Scouts organization as well.
Wow, that's that. So you came from a big city or a small city?
Well, I was born in Calgary and raised there, but came from a small town just outside of Calgary called Bragg Creek, where I've been living for the last number of years.
Oh, okay.
Much smaller than Brooks.
Oh, much smaller than Brooks. Oh, that's at least then Brooks is bigger than that
It was
town.
like moving to the big city.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, welcome to Brooks again.
Thank you.
I think it's a great community, as you saw that, and we hope to have you, and we are very honored to have you. Yes, Mr. Mohammed Ibrahim, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Mohammed Ibrahim. I now live in Brooks for the third year. I came to Brooks in January 2015. I was born in Somalia, and then when I was 8 years old, after the civil war broke out in Somalia, my family and I moved to Kenya, where we lived in a refugee camp for over 20 years. And I had all my schools, my education background in Kenya, where I established myself. I had been working with international NGOs for humanitarian assistances there for over 8 years. And then before I was sponsored to come to Canada by a friend living in Winnipeg, where I had to stay for 1 year and 6 months. I came with my family here. I have 9 kids, very beautiful, and they all go to Eastbrook School, Eastbrook Elementary School. And currently, I'm doing a diploma program in business management at Cyprus College in Medicine Hat. I also work with JBS as a military apprentice.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that's good. So, did you say 9 kids?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm married.
That's whole community.
Yeah, that's one big community for myself.
There you
yeah.
go. There you go. Okay. Yeah, Scott, you want to touch base with a little bit about SPEC?
Sure. So SPEC is one of the larger community serving organizations within Brooks.
Yeah.
We have 3 areas that are divisions. We have our family support area, which gets involved with sort of early long-term intervention and other family support type services. We have our LINK program. Our LINK works most significantly with the immigrant community, but as well as the general community at large, and is very much focused on supporting individuals and families to not only to integrate within the community, but to thrive within the community. And then we have a Parent Link program, sometimes called the PLC program, and that is very much involved in a younger demographic, or sort of 0 to 6 demographic, as well as the families and mothers of those children.
Wow, that's 3 different departments that you have within SPEC.
That's right. That's within SPEC itself, and each one of those has their own individual programs.
Okay. Okay. You have been, Mohammed. Thank you, Scott. You have been in Brooks for 3.5 years.
No, I came to Canada in 2013, October 2013.
And you came to Brooks then 2014.
I came to Brooks in January 2015, where I was hired by JBS. I typically lived in Winnipeg for 1 year and 4 months.
Okay, so you live in Brooks since 2015 then?
Yeah, I lived here in Brooks since 2015.
Okay.
This is my 3rd year.
So what's your impression of the community in general so far?
And sorry to say that, I had, when I came to Canada, my impression was that I will get the jobs I used to do back in Kenya in the camps, and as, like an office job. But I ended up staying there for 1 year and 4 months without no job. And then when I came to, I called a friend who is still here in Brooks. And then I immediately got a job with JBS. The community welcomed me, kind of like the new Canada that I found other than the one in Winnipeg. And I had a job helping communities, communities that opened up my eyes. The first person I met was Bamida from JB and SPEC and Nasra. Then I had to register my family with them. And then they actually exposed me to the college that where I am learning. They gave me the links because I told them, this is my background. What do I do? Because I stayed in Winnipeg for 1 year and 4 months, and then I could not get anywhere out of my box. So they tell me we have Academy of Learning and Cyprus College here and Medicine Hat College. And then I went to 3 of them, and then I ended up being with Cyprus College because they have government funding and grants and student loans too, unlike the other 2 institutions. So I can say the Brooks here in the Brooks communities are dedicated, hardworking, willing to support, and accommodating too.
Yeah, so that is the kind of services you guys provide to, in general, not in general population, but the immigrant population.
Yeah, correct. So we provide the opportunity to find a way to land in a community and feel like you are part of that community. It's beyond some of the more, say, formal type of services where it might be filling out forms or getting registered in the schools, but actually integrating into the culture is critical. In fact, if we look at and the research shows this, we look at really supports people feeling like they've landed and are part of something is when they feel they're part of a community that they can support and that community supports them. And so that is a big part of our mandate, is to assist individuals to feel like they're part of something bigger. When people are happy, they're happy when they're part of a community, they thrive, and so do their families thrive. So when we look at how can we support anybody moving here, whether it is from, say, Africa or from Asia or South America or from Bragg Creek, like myself, how do I fit into this community? How do I meet people? How do I find people of common interest? That's what's going to keep myself and everybody else here and really create that ownership within the community. This is what the most important thing. When we feel this is our community, that we're not just visiting, but that we own it, then we're going to contribute to it and we're going to make it better. And we're going to find a way to work together with everybody that's already here. That's what creates a thriving community, and that's why I'm here.
There you go. So that's a good message. But sometimes people get confused between settlement and integration. And that's where the problem starts in our area, because settlement is different from the integration. Integration is a big component of integrating an individual to the mainstream or the larger community. If you don't have that process, the individual will have a difficult to integrate to the major society.
And to say a little bit of the differences between the settlements and the integration here we're talking about, and our communities, especially the immigrant communities here, are literally illiterates, I may say. And I'm sorry to say that. But with the kind of background that I came with, it's quite difficult to differentiate between when someone doesn't speak English, when someone can't say what he has, what he feels, when someone can't express the kind of difficulty that he has gone through, and then there's no one that he can lean to for support or to ask for directions, then we can say that is pathetic. It's quite difficult. It's quite troubling. So what I can tell Scott from this point, and I know it's very much new to the place, and kind of metamorphosis, kind of a change going through. And I will ask expect to be kind of like be absorbed into the community. Like if you are trying to integrate, you have to learn and diffuse yourselves into the different cultures that Brooks has to offer. Of course, there are so many different people that live here that need your help. And if you can use that knowledge and skills, as you said, you develop so many communities, which is needed here, then our community can go forward. I know, and our community does not understand between the integration aspects of what SPEC does and the settlements that some organizations do. You'll see someone is going for a settlement issue, then ending up in an integration office, coming out to SPEC. Someone has got the problems with these legal documents. He ends up going to SPEC, then going to like PCIS. So we need to be open. We need these community organizations to be open to the communities, to come forward, and then read what they have to offer, their mission and goals, or what they have to their vision to the community, so the community themselves understand what these guys are all about. And unless they do that, then these confusions will last forever.
And when you talk about newcomers, who is newcomer? The definition of newcomer is not only an African, Asian, or European. It's also anybody coming within Canada. If you're moving from Black Creek, you're moving from, it's a newcomer to the society. Not necessarily this person is immigrant background, but they are coming from other places, so they do not know this area. So that's the whole idea. That's why you call them newcomer. But the definition newcomer seems to be new Canadian, which is a total two different things.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with what you're saying. It's really important that we can actually look back at some of the research and studies of what really drives human beings. And human beings are driven when they feel happy and when they feel relevant, when they feel that they are part of something bigger. When we feel irrelevant, we tend to isolate ourselves. What makes us feel relevant? Well, I know in the case of Mohammed, who has had big responsibilities and worked with large communities back in Africa in particular, brings a tremendous amount of skill set into Brooks. Are we tapping into that skill set, or are we missing out? And I would suggest that maybe we're missing out on many of the skill sets that have arrived in Brooks, and yet the opportunities may not be available. I can tell you that with organizations like BCIS and some of the other immigrant serving organizations, that we are now working together in a way to build an operational framework, which is like a system, a communications framework, so that we have clear communication both between our associations and organizations and externally, as well as a referral type of framework. And these are currently underway. And this has become critical, and I think Mohammed has really brought this to the surface, that this is a challenge that needs to be addressed, and we recognize that, and it's great to hear that this is being vocalized. So that when somebody arrives, whether, let's say, you said they've had 10 years already in Canada, or they've just arrived from a refugee camp in, say, Somalia, for example, that we have to look at these in different scenarios. There is a settlement. So for instance, somebody arrives, there's a point of entry, and we assess right away. It says, oh, you've been here for 10 years and you've got a degree, and you might be of African or Asian or other descent. You might be classified as an immigrant, but you've been here for 10 years, and your children were born here. So are you Canadian or are you an immigrant, right? I would suggest Canadian, right? In fact, I think everybody that's chosen to be here is Canadian. But there's different services and different needs. So there's an initial point of how we make that assessment. And says, okay, well, we need to work on the settlement side first, and then we move into the integration. Or you've already settled, like you said, then we move right into integration. Like myself, I'm looking to integrate. I come from Alberta, but I'm still learning the culture in Brooks, and where to live, and what I can do here to make myself feel like I'm part of something.
That is
Part of a family.
Part of a family, yeah.
That's a good one. Scott, if someone wants to volunteer for SPEC, what is the process?
Well, we actually have a volunteer portal right on our website, so if somebody wants to volunteer with SPEC, and we welcome volunteers. SPEC is a well-loved organization within this community, I've come to recognize, and so we do have a lot of people asking us to volunteer. So we have a form. You can go to our website, you can fill out the form. You can actually just come down to our office and talk at the front desk and say you'd like to volunteer, and then we'll find an opportunity. And we do have lots of opportunities for volunteering coming up.
Okay, and my follow-up question is, how would someone wants to help the SPEC, how would they help?
Well, we have a number of ways. For example, I know, for instance, Mohammed volunteers a lot. He helps out families. He might drive somebody to an appointment. He might help them get to a pharmacy. He might help them get to a grocery store. He might help them in interpreting some of the forms that they may need done. These are some of the opportunities for volunteering. We have events that we have coming up, fundraising events where we'll need volunteers always to help us to get these events off the ground. We're also reaching out to the community and asking the community to run events on behalf of SPEC to help raise money so that we can continue to offer the services that we do.
Okay, so somebody who wants to donate, for example, something, they will be able to donate to SPEC, or would they have to? Would they be able to donate direct to SPEC?
You can donate directly to SPEC. We take any donations in any form and any amounts at any time.
There you go. There you go.
So
the viewers can listen. So there is no complication, and I believe it's a tax. I believe it's.
All our
tax deductible.
Tax deductible donations. We will provide tax donation receipts for any donations over $20. And there's many different ways. You can donate right online as well.
Thanks, Scott. Mr. Mohammed, how can we, as an African Canadian leader, specifically as a Somali leader in the council, how would you encourage the new Canadians or newcomers, immigrants, how you encourage them to engage, for example, volunteering, either SPEC, BCIS, other organizations, for example, or the city in general for other events? How you encourage them? What's the best way to encourage them to get involved? Because they have to take some responsibility.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good question.
Yeah.
And when it comes to community capacity building, it's quite a broad spectrum. It's quite a very big thing. And our community, like the Somali communities here in Brooks, are the demography is largely men, and then who happen to work at JBS full time. Is either an A shift or a B shift. And then the only accessible time that we can encourage our community, and I will show you how we can encourage them, is during the weekends. During the weekends, because maybe the person goes to work in the afternoon, and then in the morning he goes to class, ESL classes to learn English. Or he's in the air shift or morning shifts at work, and then he goes to school in the afternoon for English ESL classes. So the only time he has is weekends, and too unfortunate to say, most of the times our officers don't work on the weekends. So I will encourage that the community organizations here working here be open to the community in the first place. They open up. They open up themselves to the communities that this is what we do. That they sell what they have. As I said in the first place, the organizations sell themselves to the communities, and then I will, using our structured leadership. We have structured leadership. We have Somali community organizations here. We have all African community organizations here, the buffet we are talking about. And we can go back to them and then say, we are here. We need to integrate ourselves into the communities. What do we do? First, we need to learn the cultures of the people we meet here. How do we do? We have to sell ourselves first. Like I am coming here, Ahmed can take a big role here. He can invite, like your work has to double time, double the rate of your working now, and invite so many people, and then ask these questions again and again. What can the immigrant people that came to Brooks do to enhance the living standards of themselves and those people they come to? And what can we do? We have to brainstorm, we have to have focus group discussions, and then we need to know the inner parts of the community that we engage, because there are so many barriers. The language is one, we don't speak. And then the second thing is we are not educated about the laws of the country of where we live. We don't know the bylaws that govern the city itself. A Somali person or an immigrant person may not know what am I doing, what's wrong and what's right. So the organizations have to open up themselves using focus group discussions and like service even itself. We can be agents of, Ahmed can do that.
We will brainstorm and talk and then discuss how best they can be able to benefit out of his experience and then be part of the general community, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I come from a background originally where I was in the marketing and sales world, where you meet the needs of your clients, of your customer base. It's one thing for us to come and build something that we think our customers need, or clients need. It's another thing to find out what our clients need and then build it after. And Canada has had a gray history of building for things that didn't necessarily meet the needs. So we are very much about listening and meeting the needs of the community.
That's very nice of you. A quick one in short time. What are the advantages of having a diverse population such as the one we have in Brooks, in your own opinion?
One of the unique things, of course, about Brooks, I think that probably within Canada, is that it is a highly diverse community, which brings a tremendous amount of cultural influences and experiences that we can learn from here within Brooks. There's great traditions, ways of being, ways of raising children that may be different than has traditionally been done in Canada, for example. With our Indigenous population, for example, there's a tremendous amount that non-Indigenous people can learn about the circles and connection to the land. There's a great that we can learn from African communities about providing a certain level of say freedom or less restricted freedom perhaps to our children that we might experience here. So it's very much important for us to be open to being students as much as being supporters and teachers.
Well said. Thank you very much. What message do you have for the viewers in terms of the successful election of Somalia?
And well, that is something to be proud of. and Somalia had got elections, parliamentary elections, presidential elections, where the president chosen an MB. And unlike being called a failed state for some time, because of the civil war that wrecked the country for quite a number of 25 years, and of the droughts, of the famine, and the recently intoxicated people. I'm afraid to mention them. And Somalia has come of age, and the parliament elected a president anonymously under one vote. No one said anything about it. And the sitting president, unlike the other African leaders, peacefully transferred the power to the new president, which has never happened in Somalia or in the neighboring African countries for quite a number, which is something, a success story to be relied on. And talking about the new president was my boss when I was working for a Norwegian Refugee Council in Kenya. He was my regional director, and I was the project manager. So I know he's someone that people can rely on him, that someone who is human, who understands, and by the way, he's Norwegian, he's from Norway, and he is a gentleman, and I hope he will be the person to rescue Somalia for the better.
Okay. So you're talking about the Prime Minister?
The Prime Minister, yeah.
Okay, and also the President?
The President, yeah.
Okay. No, I think that will be the end of our program today. We thank both of you, and we hope Somali or other nations in Africa who have a civil war problems to come out of the civil war for the common good of their people and respect the human rights of the individuals. So we will have a lot of Somalis or other African people to go back in Africa, their nations, and help them rebuild the country. If the continuation of human rights violations continues, you can have many elections as much as you want. If there is no accountability, you go back to the same issues. So, and that's something common for Africa. So I hope they will learn out of the Western society how the democratic system works, and we hope someday we'll see Africa thrive for the good of their good citizens. But they have to have a good governance and good accountability and transparency. If you don't have
good governance is what Somalia needs now, and Africa needs.
If you don't have, you will have a continent which is doomed to have problems for many years to come, and you can't blame problems to other people when you can fix your own problem. But thank you very much for coming to the Global Village Show. We are very honored to have Mr. Mohammed. Thank you very much, and Mr. Scott. Thank you very much to have you.
Thank you.
This is the end of Global Village show today, and we are airing today from the Brooks Legion Center in Brooks area, and we will continue to air this program, Global Village Show, for the next few months. This is part of the initiative that we hope to put the youth and senior Legion elders education for those who sacrifice to the lives of the freedom that we enjoy. Until then, thank you very much for joining us, and we hope you will join us next time.